Good morning, my name's Denise Reed. I'm a professor at the University of New Orleans here in Louisiana. And I think I want to say that in Louisiana, we should welcome the new policy, the new national policy on oceans. The first part of this, which is available for us to comment on at the moment, is a framework for coastal and marine spatial planning. So what we have now is the recognition at the federal level that coasts and oceans are really important and that spatial planning is the way to go forward. Now, we've recognized that for a long time in coastal Louisiana. We have known that we have to have a systems approach to really fixing our coast. However, if you look at the last 2 decades of the 20th century and into the first decade of the 21st century, what you see in Louisiana is a restoration program which has been challenged by the very problems that Cyn just referred to. The idea that we have multiple different agencies and multiple different programs all trying to solve the same problem. What that has resulted in is a patchwork of solutions, a patchwork of projects with different authorities grabbing different parts of the problem, but nobody really seeing the whole thing. This is what spatial planning can really do for coastal Louisiana. There's no doubt that coasts and oceans, for the reasons that we've just heard, deserve the prominence that they're going to get as we move into the 21st century. We've known for a long time here in Louisiana that the coast is vital, not just for the resources that it itself provides, but for the resources it gives the adjoining areas. The idea of linkages, the idea that the coast is related to the ocean, the idea that the Mississippi River Delta is related to the river, the idea that the upland is linked to the coast. These kinds of relationships are those which we know very clearly in Louisiana, and they're now recognized in a federal policy as a way of moving forward to think about the future. So this is really not just something that we should welcome, but we should see this as a new opportunity for us. In Louisiana, we are primed, if you like, to be the first great example of implementing this new framework. We have the science. We know a lot about this system. We've done a lot of homework. And we've also built a lot of projects before. We have the tools in our toolbox to fix this. What we need is this broader kind of thinking, this broader approach, bringing all the federal agencies to one table that this new framework calls for. I suggest that we should be pushing for early implementation of this framework and early implementation right down here in Louisiana. We know we have an urgent problem. We know we have all the pieces. This framework will help put it together. So we need to welcome this. We need to welcome this and make sure that it moves forward and gets implemented. We don't need another study sitting on a shelf. We need action down here in Louisiana. And the challenge for a new policy at the federal level is to turn that policy into action. That's what we have to make sure happens here. And Louisiana is just such a great place to start. Think about spatial planning here in Louisiana. We know that what goes on in the coast is intimately related to what goes on upstream, what goes on in the whole of the Mississippi River Basin. We know that what goes on in the Mississippi River Basin feeds down to the coast and feeds out into the Gulf of Mexico. We know that there are problems in the basin and in the Gulf hypoxia, problems in the watershed. And our coast, of course, has the greatest problems of all there in the middle. We have a great opportunity here. I urge everybody here to take advantage of this public comment opportunity that we have, to make it clear that this is important to us, that this is a good step forward, and that we are ready to get it implemented and use this new policy as a way of galvanizing action, getting everybody on the same page, and moving restoration in Louisiana forward.